Defensible Zone, Survivable Space. This video is from California. However, it is extremely relevant to Arizona and covers the Firewise program. Please note that we do not have mandatory Firewise program laws in Arizona. However, some communities may have bylaws that require items to comply with the Firewise program. Defensible Space Red Zone, Immediate Zone, 0, 5 FT Orange Zone, Intermediate Zone, 5 FT, 30 FT Green Zone, Extended Zone, 30 FT, 100 FT, all areas, be aware. Plantings, housing materials, embers, Red Zone, Immediate Zone, 0, 5 FTRs, start with the house, roof issues repaired, vents and eaves, install mesh screening, clear debris from stem walls and vents, repair or replace exterior damaged screens, move any flammable material away from the exterior, including wood piles. Orange Zone, Intermediate Zone, 5 FT, 30 F landscaping, space trees to have 18 F between crowns. Mature trees should not be closer than 10 FT. Keep lawns and native grasses mowed to 4. Clear vegetation from stationary propane takes Green Zone, Extended Zone 30 FT, 100 FT area, dispose of ground litter, debris, remove dead plants and tree material, remove vegetation adjacent to sheds and outbuildings. Tree proximity, 30-60 FT should be 12 FT apart. 60, 100 FT should be 6 FT apart. The home ignition zone. Your house is more likely to withstand a wildfire if grasses, brush, trees, and other common forest fuels are managed to reduce a fire's intensity. Survivable space is the modification of landscape design, fuels, building materials, and maintenance that would make a home ignition caused by wildfire unlikely, even without direct firefighter intervention. Create a survivable space around your structures by removing, reducing, relocating, and replacing fuels and vegetation to slow the spread of wildfire. Include detached garages, storage buildings, barns, and other structures in your plan. Survivable space involves a series of management zones for different treatments. Not all properties extend into each zone. This is the intensive fuel reduction zone. It is the area of maximum modification and treatment. It consists of an area of at least 30 feet around the structure in which flammable materials and vegetation are removed and replaced with non-flammable decking or decorative stone and well-placed fire-resistant plants and ground cover. This distance is measured from the outside edge of the home's eaves and any attached structures, such as decks or stairways. Trees here are considered part of the structure. The fewer, the better, and are at least 10 feet from the choose deciduous trees over coniferous or fire-prone ones. Remove ladder fuels from beneath. Plantings within 3 to 5 feet of the walls should be kept to a minimum, especially if the structure's sides are flammable. Decorative gravel, flagstone, or concrete decking is recommended in this area. Dry grass next to flammable structural components can easily ignite and carry fire that may cause a home ignition. Succulent plants and other low-growing, fire-resistant plants and ground cover are acceptable. Do not stack firewood or store other combustibles in this zone. Remove branches overhanging or touching the roof to a distance of at least 10. Remove all branches within 15 feet of the chimney. Be ember aware. In Zone 1, remove the fuses next to or near structures that provide the opportunity for wildfire and embers to cause home ignition. Common fuses include dry grass, stacked fuel wood, ladder fuels, and fire-prone plants such as juniper. Survivable space management zones. Zone 2, Moderate Fuel Reduction Zone. The size of Zone 2 depends on the slope of the ground where the structure is built. Typically, survivable space should extend at least 100 feet from the structure. See Figure 2 for the appropriate distance for your home's survivable space. Within this zone, the continuity and arrangement of vegetation is modified. Remove stressed, diseased, dead, or dying trees and shrubs. Thin and prune the remaining larger trees and shrubs. Be sure to extend thinning along either side of the driveway all the way to the main access road. These actions help eliminate continuous fuel surrounding a structure while enhancing fire safety and the aesthetics of the property. Thin trees and shrubs at least 10 feet between crowns, and more if on a steep slope. Crown separation is measured between canopies, outermost branches of a plant, not between prune under large trees to a height of 10. Remove ladder fuels from under trees. Propane tanks should be at least 30 feet from any structures, preferably at the same elevation as the house. Keep flammable vegetation at least 10 feet away from these. If desired, use non-flammable fencing for screening. Stack firewood and wood piles at least 30 feet away and uphill from the structure. Keep flammable vegetation at least 10 feet from wood piles. Dispose of slash, limbs, branches, and other woody debris removed from your trees and shrubs by chipping or by piling and burning as permitted. No more than 2 or 3 small, widely spaced brush piles may be left for wildlife purposes if desired. Locate these toward the outer portions of your survivable space. Survivable Space Management Zones. Zone 3, Managed Wildland Zone. This is the Managed Wildland Zone, an area of native vegetation that may extend at least 200 feet from the structure. Typical management objectives for areas surrounding home sites or subdivisions are recreational use, aesthetics, ecological health and vigor, barriers to wind, noise, dust, and visual intrusions, and possibly limited production of firewood, fence posts, and other natural resource commodities. Specific thinning requirements depend on species and land objectives. Thinning improves the forest stand by removing trees that are damaged, attacked by insects, infected by disease, or of poor form or low. The remaining trees should be the larger and healthier trees in the stand. A limited number of wildlife trees are appropriate in Zone 3. Dead trees should not threaten power lines or fire access roads. Pruning trees along trails and fire access roads is a good idea from a personal access and safety standpoint. Pruning helps reduce ladder fuels within the tree stand, keeping fire on the ground instead of in the crowns. Any approved method of slash treatment, including piling and burning, chipping, or lop and scatter, may be acceptable for this zone. Check local ordinances and your local fire department for guidance. The effectiveness of survivable space increases when multiple property owners work together.